was cleaning medical instruments when the doors exploded inward. The sound of metal crashing against stone made him jump. His hands froze over the sterilization tray. Three massive figures filled the doorway of the human embassy's medical bay. They were the wolf-like aliens who owned this frozen world. Their fur was thick and gray, their eyes glowed yellow in the dim light, and each one stood nearly 8 feet tall. Heart pounded, did not visit human buildings. They barely spoke to humans at all. The two species had a cold peace, nothing more. Human, the largest, stepped forward. Her voice was deep and rough like rocks grinding together. "You are the healer." Swallowed hard. "Yes, I'm the medic here." The lips pulled back, showing teeth as long as fingers, but she was not threatening him. She was afraid. Could see it in her eyes, in the way her ears pressed flat against her skull. "My cub is dying," she said. The other two moved aside. The large female carried something in her arms, wrapped in thick furs. As she came closer, saw a small face buried in the fabric. A child barely bigger than a human 6-year-old. The cub's eyes were closed. His breathing came in short, painful gasps. Even from several feet away, could see the fever sweat matting his fur. "Put him on the table," said, pushing aside his fear. He was a medic. This was his job. The female laid her cub down with surprising gentleness. Her clawed hands shook. "I am," she said, "pack leader of the northern clans. This is my son." Moved to the table. Up close, the cub looked worse. His breathing was too fast. His skin under the fur felt burning hot. Dark spots marked his neck and chest, visible even through his coat. "How long has he been like this?" asked. "4 days," said. Her voice cracked. "Our healers tried everything. Every medicine, every treatment, nothing works. They say he has frost rot. They say there is no cure." Had heard of frost rot. It was a disease that killed quickly. Their medical books said it was always fatal, but as looked at the symptoms, something felt familiar. "The spots appeared yesterday," continued. "This morning he stopped responding. Our chief healer said to prepare for death." One of the other growled low. "We should not be here. Humans cannot help us. Our medicine is advanced. Theirs is primitive." Spun on the speaker. "Then why is my son dying under our advanced medicine?" She turned back to, "You will try. You will save him." It was not a request. It was a command. Looked at the small, suffering child on his table. He thought about saying no. Thought about calling Ambassador Dong, about explaining that he was not equipped for alien medicine, that he could make things worse. But then made a small sound, a whimper of pain, and decision was made. "I'll try," he said, "but I need you to tell me everything, every symptom, every change from the beginning." Nodded, she began to speak and listened carefully. Fever first, then weakness, loss of appetite, sensitivity to light, stiff neck, then the spots spreading across the body, finally unconsciousness. His mind raced. He had seen something like this before, not in, but in humans. The symptoms matched almost perfectly with bacterial meningitis, a disease that had killed humans for thousands of years before antibiotics. "I need to examine him," said. "Alone, your presence is making my equipment nervous." It was a lie. The equipment did not care, but needed space to think, to work without 3 massive predators breathing down his neck. His eyes narrowed. "You think I will leave my cub with a human?" "I think you came here because you have no other choice," said quietly. "I cannot help him if you're standing over me." For a long moment stared at him, forced himself to meet her eyes, to not look away. Finally she nodded. "We will wait outside." But human, she leaned close, could smell her breath hot and sharp. "If my son dies, you die with him, this I promise." Nodded, understood. The 3 left, but knew they would not go far. He could hear them packing just beyond the door, their claws clicking on the stone floor. He turned back to. The cub looked so small on the large medical table, placed a hand on the child's forehead, burning hot, much hotter than a human fever. Pulled out his medical scanner and ran it over his body. The device hummed and beeped, collecting data. When it finished, looked at the results and felt his stomach sink. The scanner showed nothing useful. It was designed for human biology. Bodies were too different. The readings made no sense. He tried 3 more times, adjusting settings, changing parameters. Each time the results were garbage. The machine could not help him. Stepped back from the table. He looked at all his advanced equipment, all his modern tools. None of them would work. They were right to call human medicine primitive. Compared to quantum healers and gene therapy, his equipment was ancient. But the medicine had failed. Their advanced healers had given up. Thought about his medical training. He thought about what his professors had taught him. "Technology fails," one old teacher had said. "Tools break, machines stop working. But your eyes, your hands, your knowledge, these never fail. Learn to see, learn to feel, learn to understand the body without machines." Took a breath, he put down the scanner. Then he began to examine the old way, the human way. He listened to the cub's chest with a stethoscope, hearing the labored breathing. He checked the pupil response with a small light, noting the slow reaction. He felt along his neck, finding the stiffness, the tension in the muscles. He looked closely at the dark spots, seeing how they spread in a pattern across the skin. Each observation added to his understanding. This was bacterial meningitis. He was almost certain. The symptoms were too similar to be anything else. And if it was bacterial meningitis, knew exactly what medicine would work. It was old medicine, ancient medicine by galactic standards, medicine that humans had discovered by accident centuries ago before they ever reached the stars. The door opened, stood there, her eyes desperate. Well, met her gaze. I think I can save him, he said, but you must trust me. You must let me use human medicine. What medicine? Demanded. The oldest kind, said. The kind we discovered before we had machines, before we had scanners or computers or advanced tools. Stared at him. You want to use primitive medicine on my son? I want to use medicine that works, replied. Your advanced healers failed. Maybe advanced is not always better. Looked at her son, lying so still on the table. Then she looked back at. Do it, she said. Save my cub. Worked quickly. His hands moved with purpose as he gathered supplies from the medical storage. Watched his every movement, her yellow eyes tracking him like a predator watching prey. What are you doing? She asked. Getting what I need, said. He pulled out collection tubes, culture dishes, and basic analysis tools. None of them were fancy. None of them used quantum processors or gene sequencers. The door to the medical bay opened again. Ambassador Dong rushed in, his face tight with worry. He was older than, with gray hair and deep lines around his eyes. What is happening? Dong asked in Korean, speaking fast. The security alert said broke into the medical wing. Are you safe? I'm fine, replied, also in Korean. The pack leader's son is sick. I'm treating him. Dong's eyes went wide. You are what? He switched to the common galactic language so could understand. Medic, this is extremely dangerous. If the treatment fails. The boy dies, interrupted. And then I kill your medic. We have established this already. Dong looked like he might faint. Pack leader, please understand. Our medical technology is not designed for biology. We have limited supplies. If something goes wrong, it could destroy relations between our species. Relations are already destroyed, said flatly. Your people stay in your buildings. My people stay in our territories. We trade, nothing more. But if this human saves my son, perhaps that changes. Dong opened his mouth, then closed it. He looked at, can you really help? I think so, said, but I need to work now. Dong hesitated, then nodded. I will report to Earth Command. They will want to know about this. He left, but knew the ambassador would be right outside, probably packing as nervously as the return to. He took a small sample of fluid from the cub's spine, using a needle and careful pressure. Growled when she saw the needle, but she did not interfere. What is that for? She demanded. Testing, said. I need to confirm what is making him sick. He placed the sample under a basic microscope, not a quantum analyzer, not a gene sequencer, just a simple optical microscope, the kind human children used in school. Leaned over his shoulder. That is your tool, that tiny viewer. Yes, said. He adjusted the focus, bringing the sample into view. There, he could see them. Bacteria swimming in the fluid, small, rod-shaped, clustering together. I see the enemy, said. They are bacteria, tiny living things, too small to see without this tool. They are in your son's body, making him sick. Stared at the microscope. Our healers said it was a virus. They said frost rot is always viral. Your healers were wrong, said. This is bacterial. That is why their viral treatments did not work. Then use your advanced medicine, said. Use your machines to kill these bacteria. Shook his head. My machines cannot help. They are designed for humans, not. If I use them wrong, I could kill your son. Lips pulled back in a snarl. Then what good are you? I have something better than machines, said. He walked to the back of the medical bay, to a small room that most people ignored. It was the greenhouse, where the embassy grew earth plants for food and medicine. Followed him. She looked around at the green plants with confusion. You grow food in your healing room. Not food, said. He found what he was looking for. A cluster of Petri dishes, each one growing a fuzzy green mold. Medicine. He picked up one of the dishes. The mold looked disgusting, like something that should be thrown away. Wrinkled her nose. That is mold, she said. Decay, rot. Yes, agreed. This is penicillium, a type of fungus. It grows on old bread, old fruit, anywhere there is moisture and decay. Looked at him like he was insane. You want to put rot inside my son? This rot will save his life, said. He carried the dish back to the main room and began the extraction process. It was simple chemistry, nothing advanced, just careful filtering and purification. Humans discovered this medicine by accident, explained as he worked. A scientist named Fleming left some bacteria in a dish and forgot about it. Mold grew in the dish. When he came back, he saw something strange. All the bacteria around the mold were dead. Watched him filter the liquid, dead from mold. The mold makes a chemical, said. This chemical kills bacteria. We call it an antibiotic. It was the first real medicine humans ever had against bacterial infections. When did you discover this? Asked. 1928, said. Almost 900 years ago. His ears went flat. 900 years and you still use it. Of course, said. Just because something is old does not mean it stops working. This medicine saved billions of human lives. It still saves lives today. He held up a vial of clear liquid, the purified penicillin. It looked so simple, so basic, nothing like the glowing quantum serums that healers used. Your quantum medicine is very advanced, said, but it is complex. It needs perfect conditions, exact calculations, precise gene matching. This, he shook the vial, this just kills bacteria, simple, direct, effective. Our healers have quantum antibiotics, said. Why did they not work? Shrugged, maybe they were too complex. Maybe the bacteria in your son mutated around them. Advanced medicine can be outsmarted, but this, he smiled. This is too simple to outsmart. The bacteria do not expect it. They have no defense against it. Looked at the vial for a long time. You are certain this will work? No, said honestly. I have never used it on a before, but the bacteria in your son are similar to bacteria in humans. This medicine should work the same way. Should repeated, not will should. Medicine is never certain, said, but this is your son's best chance, maybe his only chance. Closed her eyes, saw her shoulders shake. For just a moment she was not the pack leader. She was just a mother terrified of losing her child. Do it, she whispered. Prepared the injection. He calculated the dosage based on size and weight. Too little would not work. Too much could be dangerous. He had to guess, to estimate, to hope he was right. The needle went into his arm. The clear liquid disappeared into his body, pulled the needle out and stepped back. Now what? Asked. Now we wait, said. The medicine needs time to work. Hours, maybe a full day. How will we know if it is working? His fever should drop. His breathing should get easier. The spots should start to fade. Looked at the small cub. Or none of that happens and we know it failed. Nodded slowly. She pulled a chair close to the table and sat down. Her hand rested on his chest, feeling each breath. I will stay, she said. I will watch. I will stay too, said. He pulled up another chair. Ambassador Dong appeared in the doorway. What is happening? We wait, told him. The medicine is inside him. Now we see if it works. Dong looked at the pack leader sitting vigil over her son. He looked at, exhausted but determined. He sighed. I will have food sent, Dong said, and more medical supplies in case you need them. Thank you, said. As Dong left, spoke. Why do you do this? You know I threatened to kill you. You know my people do not like your people. Why help my son? Looked at because he is sick, he said simply. Because I am a healer. That is what healers do. Said nothing, but something in her eyes changed. Something softened. The long wait began. The first hour passed slowly. Checked vital signs every 10 minutes. Temperature, pulse, breathing rate. He wrote down each number in a paper notebook, tracking the changes by hand. Watched everything. Why do you write on paper? She asked. Why not use a computer? Paper does not crash, said. Paper does not lose data. Paper is simple and reliable. Made a sound that might have been a laugh. You humans and your simple ways. The second hour brought no change. His fever stayed high. His breathing remained labored. The spots on his skin looked no better. Tried not to worry. The medicine needed time, he knew that, but doubt crept into his mind. What if biology was too different? What if the dosage was wrong? What if he had just killed the pack leader's son? The door opened. A new entered, bigger than, with scars crossing her muzzle. She wore armor made of black metal and carried a plasma rifle on her back. Pack leader, the warrior said, I am here. Stood, good, you will watch with me. Approached the table. She looked at, then at, her eyes were cold. This is the human who treats our future leader. Yes, said. What medicine did you use? Demanded. Explained about the penicillin, about the mold, the bacteria, the simple chemistry. Listened and her expression grew darker. You used fungus rot, she said, on the pack leader's son. Started. No, pack leader, I must speak. Turn to. Our quantum healers have studied for decades. They use technology that can rebuild a body cell by cell, and you think your primitive mold is better. I think it is different, said calmly. Not better, not worse, different. Our healers are the finest in the galaxy, said, If they could not save, how can you? Met her angry gaze. Because sometimes the old ways work when the new ways fail. That makes no sense, growled. Let me tell you a story, said. He settled back in his chair. 300 years ago, humans had a plague, a disease that killed millions. Our most advanced doctors could not stop it. They tried every new treatment, every experimental cure. Nothing worked. And both listened now. Then an old woman in a small village said she knew what to do, continued. She made a tea from tree bark, just hot water and bark, something her grandmother had taught her. People laughed. They said she was foolish. They said tree bark could not cure a plague that modern medicine could not stop. But it worked, he asked. It worked, confirmed. The bark contained a compound that killed the disease. The old woman knew this, not from computers or scans, but from generations of knowledge passed down. Simple knowledge, old knowledge. And you think your mold is like this tree bark? Asked. I think sometimes we advance so fast that we forget the basics, said. We build bigger machines, more complex programs, smarter computers, but we forget that the simplest solutions are often the strongest. Shook her head. Do not believe in looking backward. We always move forward. How is moving forward working for? Asked quietly. His hand went to her weapon, put a hand on the warrior's arm. Peace, said. The human speaks truth. Our forward movement could not save my son. Perhaps backward is the direction we need. The third hour came. Checked temperature still high. He felt his heart sink. It should be working by now, he muttered. What was at his side instantly? The fever, said. It should be dropping even a little. But it is not. Shook his head. Not yet. His claws extended. You said this would work. I said it should work, reminded her. Not that it would definitely work. What is the difference? Demanded. The difference is that medicine is not magic, said. I can only do my best. I cannot guarantee results. Then your best is not good enough, snarled. Maybe not, admitted, but it is all I have. The fourth hour was the hardest. Gave another dose of penicillin. He wiped the cub's forehead with cool water. He adjusted the blankets. He did everything he could think of. Nothing changed. Paced like a caged animal, stood by the door, hand on her weapon. The tension in the room was thick enough to cut. Found himself talking, just to fill the silence. Do you know how humans discovered sanitation? He asked. Neither answered, but they were listening. A doctor named Lister noticed that patients died more often after surgery in dirty rooms, said. So he started cleaning everything. His tools, the tables, the floors. Other doctors laughed at him. They said cleanliness had nothing to do with healing. But he was right, said. He was right, agreed. He saved thousands of lives with something as simple as washing his hands. No advanced technology, no quantum computers, just soap and water. Why are you telling us this? Asked. Because humans learned early that we are not the species, said. We are not the strongest or the fastest. We do not have natural weapons or armor. All we have is our ability to learn, to adapt, to remember what worked before. He looked at both. You have advanced medicine, but you advanced so quickly that you skipped steps. You never had to learn the simple things because you jumped straight to the complex things. And you think this makes humans better? Challenged. No, said. I think it makes us different. You know how to build a body from DNA. We know how to fight a bacteria with mold. Both kinds of knowledge have value. Stop packing. You speak wisdom, human, but wisdom does not save my son. No, agreed. Only time will tell if the medicine works. The fifth hour brought a change. Was dozing in his chair when sharp intake of breath woke him. He jumped up, thinking the worst. But was smiling, actually smiling, her teeth showing in joy instead of threat. His fever, she said. It dropped, just a little, but it dropped. Checked his thermometer. She was right. The temperature was down by almost 2 degrees. Not much, but something, definitely something. The medicine is working, said. He felt relief flood through him. Came closer. Are you certain? Look at his breathing, said. It is slower, deeper, more regular. It was true. Chest rose and fell in a steadier rhythm. The painful gasping had eased. The spots, said. They are lighter. Checked. The dark marks on skin were fading just slightly. The infection was retreating. It is working, repeated. She looked at with something like wonder. Your ancient medicine is working. It will still take time, cautioned. He is not cured yet. The bacteria are dying, but not all of them. He needs more doses, more rest. But he will live, asked. I believe so, said. Yes, I believe he will live. Sank into her chair. Her whole body seemed to collapse with relief. Put a hand on her pack leader's shoulder. The human did it, said softly. With mold and simplicity, he did what our quantum healers could not. Nodded. She looked at with new eyes. I threatened to kill you. You were afraid for your son, said. I understand. You should hate me for that threat. I do not hate easily, said. And you were right to be protective. Any parent would be. Stood, she walked to and did something that shocked him. She bowed her head, a gesture of deep respect among. You have my thanks, human healer, she said. You have saved my cub with medicine my people forgot existed. You have taught me that old does not mean worthless. Bowed back, and you have taught me that even the strongest can be humble when it matters. Dawn light began to filter through the windows. The long night was ending, and slept peacefully, his fever breaking, his small body healing. 3 days passed, grew stronger with each dose of penicillin. The fever broke completely on the second day. By the third day, the spots had almost disappeared. Sat beside the medical bed, reviewing his notes. The cub's recovery was remarkable, better than he had hoped for. A small voice said. Looked up. Eyes were open, truly open and aware for the first time since he had arrived. The young looked around the room with curiosity. Hello, said gently. How do you feel? Tired, said, and hungry, very hungry. He sniffed the air. You smell strange, not like a. That is because I am human, explained. His eyes widened. A human, mother said humans are small and weak. We are smaller than agreed, and probably weaker too. But you saved me, said. Mother told me. She said you used old medicine when our healers could not help. I did my best, said. Thank you, said seriously. I do not remember being sick, but mother says I was dying. Before could respond, the door opened. An ancient entered, supported by a walking staff. His fur was white with age, his movements slow and careful, but his eyes were sharp and intelligent. Followed him, along with 2 other warriors. Elder Jin said, This is the human healer. Jin approached the bed. He looked at with experienced eyes, then turned to. I am Jin, he said, chief healer of the people. I have practiced medicine for 70 years. I have studied every disease known to our species. He paused, and I could not save this cub. The disease was unusual, said respectfully. The disease was bacterial, Jin said. I know this now. I ran new tests after pack leader told me what you discovered, but our protocol said frost rot was always viral. We have treated it as viral for 300 years. You were working with wrong information, said. That is not your fault. It is my fault, Jin said firmly. I am the keeper of medical knowledge. If the knowledge is wrong, I should have questioned it. He looked at the medical equipment around the room. Show me what you did. I must understand. Walked Jin through the entire process. The basic examination using just his hands and simple tools, the microscope to identify the bacteria, the penicillin extraction, the dosage calculation, every step. Jin listened without interrupting. When finished, the old healer was quiet for a long moment. You used no quantum analyzers, Jin said finally, no gene sequencers, no plasma synthesizers. I do not have those things, said. This embassy medical bay has only basic equipment. But you succeeded where I failed, Jin said, where my entire team of quantum healers failed. How? Chose his words carefully. May I speak honestly, Elder? Please. I think your medicine advanced too quickly, said. You jumped from early medicine to quantum healing in just a few generations. You never had to struggle with basic diseases the way humans did. Jin's ears twitched. Explain. Humans had bacteria kill us for thousands of years, said. We fought them with plants, with molds, with chemicals. We learned every trick, every method. We had to, or we would have gone extinct. He picked up the Petri dish with penicillin mold. This is not sophisticated medicine, but it is proven medicine. Humans have used it for 900 years. We know exactly how it works, what it does, when to use it. And we do not, Jin said softly. Our ancestors discovered quantum healing 300 years ago. We could repair DNA, regrow organs, cure cancer. We thought we had conquered all disease. You conquered the complex diseases, said, but the simple ones, the bacterial infections, you never learned to fight them properly. Why would you? Your quantum medicine could handle everything. Until it could not, Jin said. He looked at. Until the bacteria mutated, changed, became resistant to our quantum antibiotics, and then we had nothing else to try. You had forgotten the basics, said. Jin nodded slowly. We built a magnificent building with no foundation, and when the ground shifted, the building fell. It is not too late to learn, said. The foundation can still be built. Jin turned to face him fully. Would you teach us? The question hung in the air, stepped forward. Elder Jin speaks for all healers. If you agree to teach, they will learn. Looked around the room. At Jin, ancient and wise but willing to admit he was wrong. At proud but humbled. At alive because of old knowledge meeting new problems. I am one medic, said. I cannot teach your entire medical system. But you can start, Jin said. You can teach me. I can teach others. Knowledge spreads like ripples in water. What would I teach? He asked. Everything we skipped, Jin said. Basic anatomy, disease identification without machines, simple medicines made from plants and fungi, how to examine a patient with just your hands and eyes. These things take time to learn, warned. I have time, Jin said. My body is old, but my mind is still sharp. I want to learn what we forgot, what we never knew. Thought about it, about how humans had struggled to understand disease, about how that struggle had made human medicine strong at its core, about how he could share that strength. I will teach you, said, but I have a condition. Name it, said. Humans must also learn from you, said. Your quantum healing is far beyond ours. If we share knowledge, both our peoples benefit. Jin smiled, showing old, worn teeth. A fair trade, ancient knowledge for advanced knowledge, the past meeting the future. The past building the future, corrected gently. Yes, Jin agreed. That is better, the past building the future. Spoke up from his bed. Does this mean the human will stay? Will you keep being my healer? Smiled at the young cub. If your mother allows it, yes, I will stay and help you get stronger. I want to learn too, said excitedly. I want to know about the mold medicine. I want to know how you knew I would live. I did not know, said honestly. I hoped, I believed, but I did not know for certain. But you tried anyway, said. Even though you were not sure, that is brave. That is being a healer, said. Sometimes we are not sure. Sometimes we have to trust our training and hope for the best. Jin placed his hand on his shoulder. You have wisdom beyond your years, young human. You will make an excellent teacher. And I will be a willing student, Jin said. Over the next hours began the first lesson. He showed Jin how to use a microscope, explaining what to look for when identifying bacteria. Jin learned quickly, his old hands steady as he adjusted the focus. Remarkable, Jin breathed, looking at a sample. I can see them swimming, individual bacteria visible with just this simple lens. Our ancestors could see them 400 years ago, said. They did not need quantum scanners, just good lenses and patience. We have quantum scanners that can see individual atoms, Jin said, but we forgot to look at the things in between, the bacteria, the cells, the simple organisms. It is easy to look too closely, said. Sometimes you need to step back, see the bigger picture. Jin nodded. Yes, we were looking at DNA, at quantum states, at things too small to matter. We missed the bacteria killing our children because we were looking too close. He straightened up from the microscope. This will change everything. When the other healers learn what you have taught me today, they will see how much we have missed. Will they want to learn? Asked. Or will they be angry that a human showed them their mistakes? Some will be angry, Jin admitted. Pride is difficult to swallow, but most will be grateful. Good healers care about saving lives, not about protecting their pride. I've been watching silently. Now she spoke. You have given me back my son. You have given Jin new knowledge. What can I give you in return? Thought about it? Friendship, he said finally, between humans, and that is all I ask. Smiled. You ask for much. Friendship is not easily given. I know, said. But you shall have it, finished. You have earned it. 3 weeks later, the great hall of the northern clans was filled with hundreds of them, warriors and healers and clan leaders, all gathered for a ceremony that had never happened before. Stood in the center of the hall, feeling very small and very human. Ambassador Dong stood beside him, looking equally nervous. Are you ready? Dong whispered. No, admitted, but I do not think that matters. Entered the hall with at her side. The cub was completely healthy now, running and playing like any normal child. When he saw, his face lit up and he waved enthusiastically. The crowd fell silent as took her place at the front of the hall. My people, said, her voice carrying across the space, we gather today to honor a debt. 3 weeks ago my son was dying. Our finest healers could not save him. I went to the humans in desperation, expecting nothing. She gestured to. This human, this healer named, saved my cub with medicine we had forgotten existed. He used mold, simple chemistry, and ancient knowledge. He succeeded where our quantum healers failed. Murmurs ran through the crowd. Some looked skeptical, others looked curious. Today I grant him a title never given to an outsider, continued. From this day forward is healer of the pack. He has my protection, my respect, and my friendship. 2 young came forward carrying a ceremonial cloak. It was made of thick fur, dyed the blue color of the northern clans. They placed it around his shoulders. The weight of it surprised him, the weight of the honor even more so. I do not deserve this, said quietly too. You do, she replied. You gave me back my son, there is no greater gift. Ran up and hugged Sleg. You are part of the pack now, that means you are family. felt his throat tighten. He looked out at the assembled, at their fierce faces and sharp teeth, and felt something he never expected to feel on this frozen world. He felt accepted. Elder Jin stepped forward. Pack leader speaks truth, but she speaks only part of the truth. This human did not just save one cub, he reminded us of what we had forgotten. Jin held up an old book, its pages yellow with age. This is our oldest medical text. It is 300 years old. It describes the early days of medicine before quantum healing. I read it this week for the first time in decades. He opened the book. Our ancestors knew about bacterial infections. They knew about using natural medicines. But when we discovered quantum healing, we stopped teaching these things. We thought they were outdated, useless. Jin closed the book carefully. We were wrong. The old knowledge is not useless. It is foundational. It is the ground upon which all medicine must stand. He turned to. I have spent 3 weeks learning from this human. He has taught me things I should have learned as a young healer. How to identify diseases without scanners. How to make medicine from plants. How to trust my own observations. And in return, spoke up, Elder Jin has taught me about biology, about quantum cell repair, about gene therapy techniques humans have not yet discovered. We have learned from each other. Jin nodded. This is my proposal to the pack leader and the council. Let us create an exchange program. Human healers come here to teach old medicine. Healers go to Earth to teach quantum medicine. Both species become stronger. The crowd erupted in discussion. Some shouted in approval. Others argued against it, could see the division clearly. Raised her hand for silence. The council will debate this proposal, but I will tell you my thoughts. My son lives because a human had knowledge we lacked. How many more lives could be saved if we learned what humans know? How many human lives could be saved if they learned what we know? She looked at each clan leader in turn. We can remain separate, each species keeping its knowledge secret, or we can grow together, learning from each other. I know which path I choose. A large step forward, recognized him as leader of the eastern clans. Pack leader, I respect your words, but humans are weak. They have no claws, no strength. Why should we learn from the weak? Before could answer, spoke. They are not weak. His young voice rang clear. Saved me when you all said I would die. That is not weakness, that is strength. Looked surprised to be challenged by a cub, but then he smiled. The young one speaks wisdom. Strength comes in many forms. Humans survived on a death world, Jin added. Their planet has predators, diseases, natural disasters. They had no claws or fangs, yet they became the dominant species. They did this through knowledge, through learning, through adaptation. He pointed at, this is human strength, not physical power, but the power to learn, to remember, to build upon the past while reaching for the future. Stepped forward, tensed, remembering her hostility from before, but her expression had changed. I doubted the human, said. I thought our advanced medicine was superior in every way. I was wrong. She bowed her head to. I was a fool. Forgive my ignorance. There is nothing to forgive, said. You were trying to protect your pack leader and her cub. That is honorable. The human shows more grace than I deserve, said. She turned to the crowd. I say we accept this exchange. Let us learn the old ways. Let us fill the gaps in our knowledge. One by one, the clan leaders voiced their support. Not all of them, but enough. The vote was clear. Ambassador Dong stepped forward. On behalf of humanity, we accept this exchange with gratitude. We will send our best teachers of traditional medicine, and we will welcome healers to Earth with full honors. Smiled, then it is decided. The exchange begins immediately. The crowd began to disperse, but many came to speak with. They asked questions about human medicine, about penicillin, about the microscope, answered each one patiently. Elder Jin appeared with several younger healers. These are my best students. They wish to learn from you. Looked at the eager faces. I will teach them everything I know. And I will arrange for you to visit our quantum healing centers, Jin said. You should see what we can teach you in return. As the evening wore on, stayed close to. The young cub had been asking questions all day. When you return to Earth, will you come back? Asked. I am not returning to Earth, said. I am staying here. There is too much work to do. His ears perked up. Really, you will stay? If your mother allows it, said. Overheard, you are healer of the pack now. This is your home if you wish it to be. I wish it, said. Later, as the celebration continued, stood outside the great hall. The frozen wind did not bother him as much as it used to. He was adapting. Ambassador Dong joined him. You have done something remarkable. You have changed the relationship between our species. I just treated a sick child, said. You did more than that, Dong replied. You showed that old knowledge has value, that simple solutions can solve complex problems, that humans have something to offer, even to species more advanced than us. Thought about that? about penicillin discovered by accident 900 years ago, about how that simple mold had saved billions of lives across the galaxy, about how the oldest medicine had succeeded where they had failed. Humans are good at remembering, said. We remember where we came from. We remember what worked before. We build new knowledge on top of old knowledge, but we never throw the old knowledge away. And that makes us valuable, Dong said. Not in spite of being less advanced, but because of it. We have the full history of medicine, from herbs and molds all the way to gene therapy. Most species skip the early steps. We lived them. Every step teaches something, agreed. Every struggle makes you stronger. Came running out, followed by several other cubs. Come tell us about Earth, tell us about human medicine, tell us everything. Laughed, that will take a very long time. We have time, said. You said you're staying. I am, confirmed. As he walked back into the great hall, surrounded by curious young, felt a sense of purpose. He would teach them about human medicine, about penicillin and sanitation, about anatomy and disease, about all the simple, basic, foundational knowledge that humanity had earned through centuries of struggle. And in return, he would learn about quantum healing, about gene therapy and cell regeneration, about all the advanced knowledge they had discovered. Both species would be stronger for it. Behind him watched with satisfaction. Her son was alive, her people were learning, and the humans, those small, weak, furless creatures, had proven themselves worthy of respect. Sometimes, she thought, the greatest strength comes in the smallest packages. Sometimes the oldest solutions are the best ones, and sometimes the species you least expect can teach you the most important lessons. She looked at, surrounded by eager students, and smiled. The pack leader's cub had been dying, but a human medic had arrived with ancient medicine, and in saving one life, he had opened a door between two species. A door that would never close again.